Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a hidden force, something that secretly shapes just about every major decision you make. It's called the anchoring bias.
All right, so to really get this, let's start with a story. And this one, well, it might hit a little too close to home. It shows you just how much this little mental glitch can cost you.
Okay, so imagine this. You're in the final interview for your absolute dream job. You've just crushed every single question. The vibe is great. You're feeling amazing. And then the recruiter asks that question. You know the one.
Seems pretty harmless, doesn't it? So you answer. You're honest. But what you don't realize is you've just walked straight into a psychological trap.
So you say 80,000. A couple weeks go by and bam, they offer you 95 grand. You're thrilled, right? That's almost a 20% raise. You feel like you totally won. But there's something you don't know.
The real budget for this role, it was $120,000. Yeah, they were ready and willing to pay that much.
So you just left 25 grand on the table. And the crazy part is, it's not because you're a bad negotiator, it's because that first number you threw out there, 80,000, it acted like an anchor dragging the whole conversation and the final offer way, way down. That's the invisible force we're talking about.
So what is this thing? Let's pull back the curtain and really look at how this powerful cognitive bias works.
It's pretty simple, but powerful. Your brain just latches on to the very first piece of information it gets. That's the anchor. And from that moment on, that anchor messes with every other judgment you make. And the wildest part? It works even if that first piece of info is totally, completely random.
Okay, so how powerful can a random number really be? You might be surprised. Psychologists wanted to know the same thing, so they designed this just brilliant experiment to find out. Okay, check this out. They got a bunch of people and asked them a trivia question. What percentage of nations in the UN are from Africa? But before they could answer, they had to spin a wheel of fortune. Now this wheel was rigged to land on either 10 or 65. So one group sees the number 10, the other sees 65. Then they guess. The people who saw the low number, 10, guessed around 25%, and the group that saw the high number, 65, they guessed way higher, around 45%. Think about that. A completely random, meaningless number literally pulled their answers 20 points apart. Insane, right?
And look, this isn't just about money or negotiations. This little mental shortcut is secretly steering some of the biggest parts of your life.
So we're talking your career, obviously, your purchases, for sure. But here's the one that might really surprise you, your relationships. It actually changes how you see and judge other people.
This is basically the science of first impressions. Let's say the first thing you hear about someone is that they're polished and intelligent. That's your anchor. So when they interrupt someone in the meeting, your brain goes, wow, so much passion. But what if the first thing you noticed was that they interrupt people? Now that's your anchor. When they do the exact same thing, you think, oh, how rude. It's the same person, same action, but the anchor completely changes your reality. So anchoring has this, let's call it an evil twin. It's called the framing effect, and it's all about how information is presented to you. The facts don't change, just the packaging.
Take a look at this. Which surgery sounds safer? One has a 90% survival rate, the other has a 10% mortality rate. Now, logically, you know they're the exact same thing, but they don't feel the same, do they? Survival anchors you in safety. Mortality anchors you in fear. The frame completely controls your gut reaction.
Okay, so this is all a bit scary, I know. And the bad news? You can't just turn this bias off. It's baked into how our brains work. But the good news? You can absolutely build a solid defense against it. You just have to be deliberate. So here are 5 steps you can take to fight back. And the number 1 rule? You have to be the one to set the first anchor whenever possible. And you can't just pull a number out of thin air. You have to ground your anchor in real, hard data.
Let's see this in action. Say a car is listed for $18,000. A weak response is, how about $15,000? See what happened there? You've already accepted their anchor of $18K and are just haggling around it. A strong response is to throw their anchor out completely. You say something like, 18,000 is pretty high. Similar cars are going for 12 to 14K. Based on that, I'll offer 13,000. Boom. You rejected their anchor and set a new one based on data. That's how you shift the entire conversation.
At the end of the day, what this all shows us is a pretty uncomfortable truth, right? We'd like to think we're objective, that we're looking at the facts, but we're not. The context, that first number, that first impression, it shapes our perception way more than we realize.
So what's the one thing you can do right now to start fighting this? It's asking yourself one simple question. What would I think if I had encountered all this information in a different order? Just ask that. The next time you're about to make a big decision, stop. Think about what the anchor was. Question it. If you can make that a habit, you'll start to see just how much it's been influencing you, and you'll start to make much, much clearer decisions.